Okay, we are going to, let me take a look at who's here. I know people will be continuing to sign on for a few moments. So if you didn't hear that, as I was talking to Michelle, we have this week and next week is Gentle Flow Yoga, which, as you know, you sign up for on Schedule Plus, and you have to do it week by week. So you're all here, you all know how that works. On the 23rd, it's the first MIL Yoga for Healthy Aging. You know, it's very similar. The main difference, I think, is that I do a reading usually with Yoga for Healthy Aging, just to contribute to our knowledge about how yoga can help us benefit as we add years. So that's the situation with scheduling. Anyone have any? You're all on mute, but if you would like to unmute yourself and ask a question, if there's anything you're wondering about, it would be very helpful to me, because some of you have your videos blocked, many of you do, to let me know just if you've never taken this class before or if you're brand new to yoga. Those would be the two things that would be handy for me as a teacher to know. If you really don't want to unblock your video, you can just put it in the chat to let me know. Anyone brand new? I recognize all of you with videos on. Okay. All right, I'm going to assume everyone has been in this class or done yoga before, so I'm not going to add too many cautions. Just as always, this is your practice. Take it at your own pace. Think of what I offer as suggestions, and there are always adaptations. So those are the key things to remember, and the breath is more important than anything. So if you ever get frustrated or you're not sure what's going on, you can always sit quietly and focus on your breathing, which is what we'll do right now. You can do that in a chair, and you can do it sitting on the ground, cross-legged. So I know some of you will choose to do that. Do whichever is feeling most appropriate for you today. Find your upright position, but if you're in the chair, allow yourself to be supported. So you don't have to sit totally upright without that support, because our focus here is on going inward for a few moments. Allowing your mind to settle and begin to rest on the rhythm of the breath. If the mind becomes distracted, it inevitably will. Everyone's does. Very experienced meditators still have a wandering mind. All you're doing is gently reminding yourself to come back to rest your attention on your breath. Please now draw hands together at heart center. Gently press palms towards one another. Slide thumbs a little bit up. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. And we'll chant the sound of Om together 3 times. Please join me, even though we can't hear one another. Breathing in. Om. Inhale, exhale, replace hands to lap. Eyes open, come forward. If you're in the chair, come forward to the front of your chair. If you're seated on the ground, just remain as you are. And we'll begin with some warm-ups for the shoulders today. Bring your arms out please, into a T position and cross your left arm over your right. Bring yourself into a hug position. So the elbows are more or less in line with each other depending on you and your shoulders. And fingertips are searching towards shoulder blades. And just create that little lift and lowering of the two elbows. Breathing in and exhaling. You can add a lift of the head, getting a little bit of a stretch for the neck and the lowering. Please come back to neutral. You can remain in the hug shape. If you're familiar with the wrap, you can take the wrap, or you might be sort of in between. Whichever position you're taking, press that top arm down into the resistance of the bottom arm and breathe. So that could be in the hug. And unwind, come out to the T. You can put your hands down and roll your shoulders out if you need a break, or to cross directly to the other side. Have those fingertips walking towards the shoulder blades. They might just come somewhere close to them, not actually touching. And once again, lifting and lowering. Inhaling on the lift. Exhaling. What's going on with your legs? Are they getting a little bit relaxed? Can you keep the knees directly forward? One more lift on the inhale. And lowering, release. Come back to neutral. And here's your opportunity to take the wrap or the halfway position or the hug. Pressing top arm down into the resistance of the base arm that's pressing upward a little bit. You're breathing. And unwinding. Release your arms, and let's all roll out our shoulders a few times, just nice and easy. Up, back, down, and forward, and then reverse. And coming to a neutral position, we're going to take some cat-cow stretches, which we will do later on, perhaps for some of you from kneeling. But for our cat-cows from seated, we're just thinking about lifting the sternum, getting really long in the front body, and there's a gentle lift of the chin. You're not cranking your head way back. So just that lengthening of the front body. And exhaling, come to neutral. If you're okay, coming into a rounded position, only for people who are not experiencing osteoporosis, who do not have disc injuries. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, release. If you're cross-legged on the floor, that's fine. You can do the same thing from there. Inhaling, elbows in close to the sides of the body as you lengthen. And exhaling, elbows go wide. You're either rounding or you're coming to neutral. A few more times with your breath. And let's pause for a breath or two in that lifted position, really focusing on the length from your pubic bone to the top of your sternum. You might feel a contraction in your back body, if that makes sense. And come back to neutral. We will come to stand. Do so methodically. Work your feet back towards the legs of the chair. Tilt forward, long spine. Inhale. On your exhalation, come all the way up to upright. And release your arms down alongside your body. Come to stand in your mountain pose, please. Feet hips distance, arms long. No rigidity, but lots of length and strength. There's strength in these big quadricep muscles. Imagine you're pulling your kneecaps up towards your hips. And just as we began, it's a focus for the mind, remaining present. Releasing from mountain pose, we are going to come into our little sun salute. We've done these many times. These are half sun salutes. You can use a chair or not. Bringing hands together, heart center, just as when we were in mountain pose a moment ago. Inhale, lift the arms. Bend your knees, circle the arms down, come to the heart center, or if you want a little support, hands on the chair. And lengthen legs, lengthen spine. Back to chair pose. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll do 2 more of those with the option to go a little bit closer to the ground on your forward fold. And that's, again, only for some people. Inhaling, exhaling, chair. Inhaling, maybe your forward fold is now coming a little bit deeper, depending, of course, on your hamstrings. And being cautious so we're not rounding. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Last time, either of those 2 variations, so you could be here in your forward fold, you could be here, and in this one, I'll give you the option to come into a deeper forward fold. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, chair pose. Here's your forward fold, wherever that is. And hands to the heart, sitting back in your chair. Sweep the arms up, inhale. And exhale, hands to the heart center. Release the arms alongside the body. We're going to work on a pose today to incorporate into our flow, and this is Warrior 3. We don't do Warrior 3 quite as much as some of the other warrior poses. So for this one, you will probably want to have a chair available. If you're not a chair person, you can use some blocks, and this is going to be where you'll be going if you're not using a chair. So you make the decision. And here we go, prepping for Warrior 3. Let's bring the left foot forward and step the other foot back. Hips are facing towards the chair. And we're just gonna work on, or the blocks if you're using them, we're just gonna work on the transfer of weight. Bringing your weight back onto your back foot, and then lift the back heel, come forward. So you're really standing up tall on the forward leg. And release back. And come forward. And back. And forward. Let's take a balance here. So we're forward. And we're going to lift the left arm. You could be here. You could lift that back foot off the floor just a little bit, maybe releasing arm or holding on. And release, bring the arm down. Let's come to the other side. So opposite foot forward, we'll do that little transfer of weight. So it starts off, so the back heel is on the floor, and transfer the weight forward. So you're up nice and tall. Now on your right leg, and release back. And come forward. And back. Forward now. Let's take that balance. You can lift your arm. Maybe lift the leg, or not, you can keep it grounded. If you're feeling nice and steady, maybe this hand that's on the chair is going to come alongside the body. Easier to do that with the foot on the floor, for sure. What's important here is really getting the weight forward onto the standing leg. So don't worry too much about the balance. And release, bring the arm down. And bring the foot forward. Stand up tall in mountain pose again. Now we're going to take this into our warrior three. So let me move my blanket. Don't really need that. So warrior three, I'll just very quickly demo so you can see what's going on. Weight over the front leg, back foot lifting, sliding hands down the chair. So just like our forward fold earlier, a moment ago, some people will be here. Some people will be here. Maybe palms to the seat. Maybe hands to the blocks. What's important is keeping that long line from crown to heel. Let's do it together. So once again, left foot forward, other foot steps back. Transfer the weight to the front leg and lift that foot just a little bit off the ground. This could be your warrior three. Doesn't have to be deep. Maybe some of you are going a little bit farther down. Maybe some people are bringing hands to the seat of the chair. And that back foot is active. What we're avoiding is this shape. Long line. Wherever you choose to work in your warrior three. Breathing. And release, bring it back into a lunge, bend the front knee, put the back foot down, come to an upright position. One arm lifts and lengthen. Other arm lifts as you bend the knee and you're lengthening. And you're finding your lunge. Any way you'd like to take your upright lunge. Bringing back foot forward. Here we are in chair pose. Let's come all the way up to stand and take warrior three to the other leg. So now your right foot is forward. Other foot steps back. We're bringing the weight forward onto that front leg. And here we go with warrior three. Lifting the back leg. Coming forward maybe just a little bit. This could be your warrior three. Really focusing on alignment, or maybe midway down. Some of you may be coming to use the blocks on the earth. Breathing. Energizing that back heel. It's part of the pose. And as we come out of it, we're bending the front knee, landing the back foot down into the lunge. Lifting one arm and releasing. Lifting the other arm and releasing. Find your balance in your lunge. One arm, both, or neither. And release. Bring the arms down, bring the foot forward. Come all the way up to stand. Pause for a breath or two in mountain pose. Standing tall, but most importantly, resting your mind on your breath. And we're going to incorporate our Warrior Three into a little bit more of a flow. So I'm going to face the seat of my chair this time. You can certainly continue to face the back of the chair or not use it. Hands at the heart. Standing tall. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, sit back in your chair pose. Find your forward fold. And keeping the left foot forward, step the other foot back. Here we go, Warrior Three. Warrior Three pose. And come back down into the lunge. Step back this time for chair dog. Our first dog of the day. Bending knees as you choose, or maybe keeping the legs lengthened. If anyone's not using the chair, this could, of course, be downward dog on the mat. Bending the knees. Bringing opposite foot forward. We're coming into Warrior Three with the other leg forward. Straighten that leg. Lift it up behind you. Make sure it's the opposite leg. I'm actually not sure if this is the opposite leg. Left foot forward, I believe. Breathe. And bend the forward knee. Step back one more time. Dog again. This time you're going to bring your dog forward into a chair plank. Hips forward, long line from heels to crown of head, and hinge back one more time. Chair dog, bend knees, step one foot and the other foot forward, hands to heart, sit back. And sweep the arms up. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Hands to the heart center. Pause for a moment. In this little variation, your hands are just in a different position. Notice what you're feeling. Notice how your breath has responded to that fairly strong sequence. And release, bring your arms down alongside your body. I'm going to take a break to open the window. It is a little bit warm today. And we're going to come into our balance sequence for today. So feel free, as throughout this class, to use a chair or not. And stand up tall on the left side of your chair, if you're using one. Feet are hips distance. Mountain pose is the foundation for most balance poses, so we begin here. Bring the outside foot forward. We're going to keep it on the ground initially. Knee is a little bit bent. Make sure you're not letting go too much of that hip. Standing up tall on the inside leg, hands at the heart. Breathe. Arms overhead. Hands back to the heart and bring yourself into a little foundational tree. Knee out to the side, heel to ankle. Again, lifting arms if that's comfortable and accessible for you. And last time, hands to the heart, foot to the floor. We'll do this with a little lift this time. So it'll be a tree with foot to the calf, or if anybody wants to come higher, you can come higher. You can certainly stay on the ground as well. Okay, so option to lift the foot. Bringing that outside foot forward. Lifting the foot up off the floor. Lifting the arms up towards the sky. And transitioning into tree, your way. Chair is here. That's why we have it. And releasing, bringing foot back down to the earth, arms alongside the body. And let's switch to the other side. Starting in mountain pose, of course. And we're starting with the more grounded version of the sequence. So the outside foot comes forward, hands to the heart. You can lift your arms and transition into your little foundational tree. Hands to heart, knee to the side. And releasing, mountain pose. Option to bring that foot forward and lift it. So this is crane pose. Arms or arm can lift. And hand comes back to the heart as we transition to tree. And remember, this is a place where I don't know some of you, and I don't know everyone's yoga background, but if you've ever practiced tree in a higher position, feel free. And release, foot to the floor, arms alongside the body. And breathe. We are going to come on down to sit. So that could be sitting on a blanket on the floor if you're comfortable doing so, or you're going to just be in your chair. And this will be legs extended long. So I'll do this one on the floor, but know that it's the same sequence if you're coming to the floor or doing it in the chair. Legs are lengthened. Toes are up towards the sky, and the legs are still about hips distance apart. Bring your arms back behind you and just be tall. Shoulders over hips, just like when we began. If this is tough for you, especially if your back is sore or your hamstrings are singing to you, you can bend your knees a little bit. And we're going to work with our arms and our legs at the same time. So please extend your arms long as your legs are long. Interlace your fingers. And as you bend your knees, reverse the position of your palms and send the arms up overhead. Knees are now bent. And lengthen legs, come on back to that halfway position. Bend the knees, lift the arms, palms towards the sky. This could also be here or here, depending on your shoulders. And halfway position for the arms. Bend the knees, inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Let's do that a few more times with your breath. Feel free at any time to take a break. And the next time you come to that halfway position, undo your interlace, release your arms, and just take another breath or two in staff pose, long legs, shoulders over hips. And come now, for those of you on the floor, to cross your legs, if that's comfortable for you. I know not everyone loves this cross leg position, so if it's easier for you to remain in any other position, feel free, or come to the chair. And this is more for the upper body, so people in the chair are just sitting in your mountain pose, people on the floor cross-legged. Bring your arms, please, into cactus. Elbows in line with shoulders. And we're going to take our cactus into a little twist. It'll be small. Inhale. And on the exhale, twist the torso to the right. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the left. So the elbows aren't coming closer to each other. Keep them wide apart as you turn. And inhale, center. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And if you prefer, it could be hands at the heart. Little baby twists. The next time you twist on the exhalation towards your right, let's extend the arms up long and release them down into a held twist. Torso upright. Initially, the eyes in the head are in the same direction as the torso, but let's change that. Turning the head over opposite shoulder and back in the same direction. And just do that nice and easy a few times, getting an interesting, I hope, stretch for your neck. And last time, a brief pause. Make sure your shoulders aren't hiking up. Keep them released. Your hand could be on either knee. And come on back to center. Of course, we have to do that to the other side, but first we're going to switch the cross of the legs. So you can do that by tilting back and crossing the other way, or just moving one foot and then the other forward. Cactus arms again. Let's twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just one more cycle. And this time twisting to the left, elbows still wide. Reach those arms up long towards the sky. Float the arms down now. Torso, shoulders, ribs, head all in the same direction. And turning the head opposite. It's a fairly simple movement, just turning the head and neck. So really focusing on the breath. Inhale and exhale. The next time you come into that position with the head turned away, pause. Lengthen torso, make sure we're not so focused on the head and neck, we're starting to round. And coming back to center. We are going to transition now onto hands and knees. So if you're not a kneeler, and I know not everyone is, that's fine. So some of you, instead of kneeling, please, if you are coming to kneel, do so with a blanket under your knees. If you're not a kneeler, we're going to be doing Sphinx Pose. So you can do that at a wall, elbows in front of shoulders, hips towards wall. So that would be your Sphinx Pose. The other part of this is kind of similar to what we did earlier. We'll be on the floor doing locust. If you're a stander, you'll have one leg back, the other leg back. One leg will alternate a few times. You can lift one arm and lift the other arm and then come to hold. So that's for standers. If you are down on the mat kind of person, come on down, find your Sphinx Pose. So this is either at the wall or on the mat. Elbows right in line with your shoulders. Front of the body long, just like when we began doing our cat-cow poses when we were seated. Breathe. How about lifting and bending, sole of the foot towards the sky, and releasing down, bending the opposite knee, sole towards sky, and release. Do it one more time on each side. And see how it would feel to bend both knees, both soles towards sky. If that's feeling pinchy in your low back, you can actually lift your tummy up off the floor a little bit. That might help. And release. Lengthen the legs. Come on down. Rest your forehead for a moment on your forearm. Just let your legs relax. You can swivel your hips a little bit from side to side. And this could be, of course, at the wall. And we're going to do that other variation, which will be also a back bending sequence. So people on the floor, lift your head up off your supporting forearms and bring your arms alongside your body. Arms are long beside the body, forehead is resting. We're just going to lift the left leg up off the floor. Entire length of the left leg lifts from the hip joint and release. Lift opposite leg and release. Do that a few more times, alternating one leg and then the other, lifting right from the hip joint, long leg, exhaling, release, lifting opposite leg, and exhaling, release. Both legs lifting, forehead still resting. And release. This last time, we'll be lifting upper body, both legs, both arms, or keep the arms grounded for a little more support. This is locust pose. Exhale, release. We'll do it with the breath. Inhale, lift legs, lift upper body. Exhale, release. Last time, inhaling, lift. It's not a big lift. It's more about length. Pause for as long as it feels okay in your body. And release, bring everything down, bring opposite forearm on top, and rest your forehead again. Let your legs relax. You might want to, again, swivel your hips a little bit from side to side. And you're focusing on your breath, the fullness of your breath. You can really feel that pressure of the tummy into the floor as you inhale. And a softening, a release as you exhale. Inhaling, feel that gentle press of the tummy into the floor. And soften, exhale, release. One more time. Let's come now directly to hands and knees. So you've got your blanket, I hope, if you're a kneeler, and you're coming to table pose. If you're not a kneeler, same thing with the chair, but you're standing. So either standing or kneeling in table pose. And we'll be segueing between cow pose, that's with the belly released a little bit towards the floor, sits bones lifted, heart reaching forward, and cat pose, bowing the head, rounding the spine. For those it's appropriate for. This isn't for everyone. Some of you are coming to neutral. Inhaling, lift, arc the spine, and now round the spine, bow the head, look towards your navel. Inhaling, exhaling, just flow with the breath. It's not terribly technical. It's just like a wave of movement for your spine. We're going to take this into down dog, some of us, on the floor or standing. So find your arched position. This is cow pose. Gather your tummy in towards your back body. Lift your knees, lift your hips. Come on back into your first mat or chair dog. Softly land the knees. Come back to arc the spine. Gather in, lift knees, lift hips. Down dog, bent knees. One more time. And this time we'll hold our dog of choice. That could be on the mat, or I'm sure some of you are probably still standing, although I can't see many of you. So this could be your hold. Hold your dog for a few moments, a few breaths. Come down at any time. And everyone, if you haven't yet, please do come down to hands and knees and either come to stand on your shins. You may want to, sorry, I didn't mention it, may want to have a strap available here. So you could be standing on your feet or on your shins. Sorry, I forgot my blanket to protect my shins and knees. Take your strap, please bring it back behind you. So depending on your shoulders, you could be pretty close. Some of you might even be interlacing, or take more space. Inhaling, lift that strap away from the hips. Exhaling, release. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, release. Inhaling, lift. And release. We're going to add on, but take a break. Let the strap go a little bit lax, but continue to stand tall on your shins or your feet. The next part of this will be coming into chair pose. So we can come into chair pose from kneeling. So hips back, arms lift, back up to upright, or standing, of course. Same thing. Continue from wherever you're working. Hips back, arms lift. Come to upright. A few more times. And if you don't like the strap, don't use the strap. Arms could just be alongside the body or at the heart center. And last time, hinging hips back, coaxing heart forward and lifting, getting some good strength in those quadricep muscles here. Come all the way up to upright. And let's take, before we come onto our, we're getting short of time. Let's do one more thing before we come onto our backs. I'd like you to stretch out those thighs that we just worked pretty actively. So bringing one foot forward, finding your lunge. This could be in the chair, and sliding forward. So you're getting a stretch in that back quadriceps. Same thing in the chair. I'd like to do this from the side of the chair. Getting that stretch. And other side, knee down, opposite foot forward. Slide yourself forward. Feel the stretch in that back thigh muscle. Breathe. Hands could be at the heart. And release. Come on down to your back if you're coming to your back. And take your strap with you. This could very easily be adapted to the chair. I'll just demonstrate it from the chair. I think it will make sense to everyone on the floor. So I'll talk to people on the floor. You're in the chair, you're leaning back. If you're on the floor, you're enjoying that support of the length of the floor. And you have your strap. Pick your right foot up, strap it around ball mounds, and go long. Foot towards sky. Arms long. Here's your hamstring stretch. Opposite leg can be bent or lengthened. Please take both sides of the strap now in your right hand and let that leg come out to the side. People on the floor, feel free to extend opposite arm in a T. If you're in the chair, you might feel better to hold on. Bring that leg back up to center. We're just going to cross a little bit. It's not a big cross, a few inches across the midline, getting a stretch in the outside of the right hip and upper thigh. We're going to come back to center, bend the knee, and now you're crossing the ankle over the knee. So this is familiarly known as pigeon pose, ankle over knee. For people on the floor, pick up that foot off the floor and you can take some knee circles. People in the chair, this is your pose. Come see if I can take a look. Just feeling the stretch in the outside of the hip. Taking some gentle little movements. So I see a few people who are upright. Jennifer, try hinging forward. So you'll get more of a stretch when you're in the chair. If you hinge forward here, just try that, see how that works for you. Yeah. And nice, coming to stillness, uncrossing, bringing the foot back down to the floor, and find balance. Both sides of the sacrum equally weighted into the earth. If you're in the chair, you can just scoot one hip and then the other up to find balance, and we're coming to the other side. So taking your strap, lifting your left foot, strap around ball mounds. Extend that leg to your length, any length. Could be about a 90-degree angle, it could be more or less. But the leg is long and the arms are long, so adjust your spacing on the strap. Take both sides of the strap now in your left hand. Let that leg come out to the side. Arm can come out into a T as well, or not. Inhale, come back to center. Switch the straps now to the other hand and just take that little cross just a bit beyond the midline, feeling the stretch in the outside of the hip and leg. Possibly an extended arm. Coming back to the midline, and here's where we're going to bend the knee and cross the ankle over the knee. So your left ankle over right knee. You can put the strap aside. Some people like to use it under the thigh, or you can interlace and lift. People on the floor are taking circles. People in the chair, try that hinge forward, see how that works for you. Just exploring the range of motion in the hip socket, stretching the outer hip muscles. Breathing. And come on back, uncross the legs, soles of both feet now down on the ground. And we'll take one last symmetrical pose. And because we worked quite a bit into the hips, let's let this be happy baby. So happy baby is, first of all, if you're on the ground, on the chair, knees wide, everyone, feet wide. This could be your happy baby. Or picking the feet up off the floor, knees as wide as the armpits, soles towards sky. Happy baby here, pressing hands down into the back of the thighs, or the ankles, or the feet. I know I often see people swaying from side to side in happy baby. You can do that if it would feel pleasant. And gradually coming to your stillness, releasing feet, settling yourself into your relaxation, either on the mat or in the chair. Settle yourself into stillness physically. Draw your attention inward to your breath, which is flowing in and out of your body at a natural rhythm. Allow the mind to rest on that natural rhythm. Just as we began, if the mind becomes distracted, just gently remind yourself to come back to your focal point, the breath.